Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, broadcasting from our AM 920 The Answer studios in a lovely Buckhead, Atlanta. And I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis. This week we're headed to Alabama. We're going to be talking to one of Huntsville's most established breweries, Yellowhammer. We'll be speaking with co-founder and brewmaster Keith Yager.
That sounds like a good time. So it should be a fun time that's had for all. So we've had a good time here for the week, and really kind of an enjoyable week as well. Lots of beer to be drunk and lots of things to be had. So, Tim, what did you do this week?
Busy week, man.
Yeah?
So I went to the Burnt Hickory anniversary last weekend.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Had a good time there, enjoying all the BHB beers, seeing some good friends, hanging out. A lot of homebrewers there, so they had homebrewers that came in and brewed collaboration brews with them. So got to try some good stuff there from some local homebrewers. Went to a beer dinner at Red Hair. They did an Italian beer dinner there. Had a cannoli bar at the beer dinner.
That's a pretty good deal right there with cannolis.
Yes.
We left the gun and took the cannoli.
Yeah, and tried their peach Berliner, which I really enjoyed. I hadn't had that before. So, and Little Cottage was one of the breweries at Burnt Hickory.
Those
and he
guys.
had rum barrel-aged Copra Cacao, which was just phenomenal.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to have Cobra Cow a few months ago, and it's so good. It's just absolutely fantastic. So, John Sherry, just open your own brewery and make us happy.
Get on it, John.
That's right. That's right.
Hurry up already.
Exactly. So it's funny. We talk about how craft beer really kind of creates community, and we've talked about how breweries kind of come in areas that are not necessarily community-based, but they kind of grow into some things. And the cool thing about that is that I live in a neighborhood that really is big, but we don't know each other. I mean, literally, I know about 4 or 5 of my neighbors. And so I had a neighborhood bottle share this week. That was a lot of fun. So what we did is we basically just kind of set the word out and said, hey, if you got some beer, you want to go ahead and hang out and do that and enjoy. So we had anyone from folks who are literal craft beer nerds and home brewers to people that, went to Kroger and got some of the single six-packs, that they had. So it was a ton of fun. We got to hang out, enjoy, and had one of my neighbors is a huge craft beer nerd, and he brought some zombie dust, so I was very happy about that. So that's certainly a good thing.
Some nerds, some newbies learning about craft beer.
Yeah, and
right?
that was really cool. So we all kind of enjoyed each other, and we talked about how we really don't know each other, and so hopefully this will be something that grow and we can kind of learn and grow and kind of be more neighborly, and it's all due to craft beer. So
beer brings people together.
Beer does.
It's a very social beverage.
It is definitely a very social beverage, and definitely a very good one as well. Speaking of good social beverages, let's check out our Truck and Tap beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Woo-hoo! Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
All right, Tim, what do we got?
So we got some good ones. So we're just getting into a new one, fairly new one from Red Brick that they did. Whale Shark Wheat is one that they've got out, and that's something they did with Georgia Aquarium, a fundraiser beer for research and conservation efforts. With the Georgia Aquarium, they've got the whale sharks there, of course.
Yes.
And so it is an American wheat ale brewed with tropical and fruity hops. So that's it. And we've got Aaron. Did I hear you got some Sweetwater?
You know what? I don't have any Sweetwater up in here, but Brian and I drank it all.
You drank it all. Okay.
All
now
of
you
it.
tried the Torakumi, correct?
Yeah. So the
Wasabi?
Wasabi. It was hot like wasabi when I bust rhymes.
Oh yes.
I don't bust any rhymes, so that was a complete lie.
You should start busting rhymes.
I should. It may be actually just a good thing. But no, actually, it was really good. I think Brian and I were both at the Sweetwater release. And it's a nice ale, nice little pale ale. But they put the wasabi in there. When you think wasabi, of course, you think burn your nostrils. It's so hot. But it wasn't that. You kind of got the green of the wasabi, and it was real wasabi. It wasn't the fake horseradish with green food dye in it. And so you got some kind of a little bit of that smell and that aroma, but you didn't get any of that heat, right, Brian? I didn't get a lot of it either.
I absolutely agree. It was a great flavor, and Nick was saying that real wasabi was expensive, but it had, I believe he was saying Sriracha Ace hops in there, which to me added like a lemongrass element.
They've got like lemon and dill, right?
Yeah,
with the Sriracha
I didn't get
Ace,
as much of the dill, but the
lemon.
lemongrass and wasabi, It's really tasty.
Yeah.
Now, did they have the triple tail?
They did.
Did you get to try it? How's that?
We tried that off of the pigtail, and of course, they had a little bit of a crew here. So Al Sharpton and Brian and myself and a couple of guys from a different radio station were there. I enjoyed it. My favorite IPA from Sweetwater, I'm a West Coast pine hophead. So the classic IPA, the yellow bottle, is my favorite from Sweetwater. But really, this is probably my second or third favorite because it was a nice East Coast hop. It had a nice little balance to it. It wasn't hoppy and piney and bitter, so you might like this one, Tim.
Cool, yeah.
But it wasn't
like
hazy and juicy. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit juicy, but it wasn't hazy.
It was not juicy. Oh, it was juicy.
It was juicy, but it wasn't hazy.
Yeah,
Okay,
juicy,
that's
but
important.
not hazy.
All right. Okay,
Yes.
then. So, yeah. And we would have some Yellowhammer beers in here, but we had a FedEx faux pas.
Wah, wah.
It happens.
Exactly.
So we've had their beers, though. We visited their brewery. So
Yeah, visited the brewery.
we'll just reminisce when we talk to them.
Absolutely. Looking forward to
so.
talking to those guys and talking about some Huntsville beer activity. So that was definitely very good. So while we are into it, though, let's go ahead and check out what's going on in the headlines.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines. Sponsored by Your Pie Perimeter in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center across from Perimeter Mall.
And, of course, there's a couple of big things in the headlines. One locally, we'll get to that in just a moment. A very good friend of ours has passed. And like I said, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But first, it's been an interesting week in the world of craft beer when it comes to a website called Rate Beer. And, of course, Rate Beer is a big website, kind of like a beer advocate or Untapped or something like that, where people kind of go through. Well, it's kind of come out that Rate Beer has been bought by a branch of InBev, of AB InBev. And they can go ahead and take a lot of their data and those types of things. So a lot of breweries have asked them to take them off of their website. So Dogfish Head, Harpoon, a couple of others have been asked to be taken off of their list and not be rated by Rate Beer.
And
anymore.
Rate Beer basically said no.
No.
Yes.
But a couple of breweries, one brewery in particular, had a good way around it, actually. So, and I saw you
They
post this,
renamed a ton of their beers that I think it said Kanye or Beyonce had the best album of all time.
That's good.
So, they've got 40 beers named that. So that's their answer since Rate Beer told them no. Basically it was an open user-created community, and they would not remove them. So they just renamed all their beers.
Exactly. So it makes it a little bit more easy. So it'll be interesting. Again, this fight has been going on ad infinitum, and it'll probably continue to go on ad infinitum. That large breweries like AB InBev, especially, buying up portions of the craft beer world, not necessarily breweries, but sites like RateBeer.com and some other sites, and creating some sites like I believe it's October content sites. So they're trying to kind of move their way in or muscle their way into the craft beer world, and a lot of the independent craft brewers are kind of pushing back on that. So we'll see how that starts to develop. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and unfortunately, I just alluded to earlier, we have another unfortunate segment to talk about here in our headlines. And Tim, I'll go ahead and let you go ahead and take care of this one.
Yeah, as Aaron mentioned, we're going to do something just a little bit different this week. So earlier this week, the Atlanta beer community lost one of its most passionate and colorful members. Dan Rosen was involved in a tragic accident and passed away. Dan, along with his friend Hamp Covington, founded Missouri Brewing. They were very active in the home brewing scene for many years and also guest brewed at local breweries to showcase their beers at special events and festivals. When their elusive brews did show up, they frequently won awards. In Georgia at the Atlanta Cask Ale Tasting, the Strong Beer Fest, and at the Classic City Brew Fest, and also Cigar City's Hunapoo's Day in Tampa, Florida, where they actually served their coconut Russian Imperial Stout out of coconuts.
Yeah.
So Dan was always smiling, he was always helpful, and he was always friendly. He loved craft beer and the craft beer community. Dan was your friend from the first time you met him. He always remembered your face, but maybe not your name. Dan mistook Brian for Aaron at beer events.
Yeah.
And that never changed. We explained to Dan a couple times that he wasn't Aaron, but that was far into the evening after, a few beers, so It didn't really stick. So now when Dan did finally meet Aaron at a beer event, he exclaimed, "Oh, another Aaron?" So that's
there you go.
A good Dan story there. So
Definitely.
Dan loved big stouts and super fresh IPAs. Dan introduced us to many people in the beer industry, including the good folks at Cigar City, and assisted in getting us media access to Hunapoo's Day. We'd like to raise a toast to Dan, and since we drank all our Missouri beers, we think a Hunapoo Stout is appropriate for that toast. Dan, thank you for all you did to make craft beer awesome. We dedicate this episode of Beer Guys Radio to you. You are and will be greatly missed. Cheers.
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 The Beer Guys Radio Show will be back right after this.
We are Reformation Brewery, celebrating the reformer in you. Locally crafted within the renowned Etowah watershed of Woodstock, Georgia, Reformation creates yeast-forward brews full of aroma and flavor crafted to last. Come see us in beautiful Woodstock, Georgia, for a tour and tasting of unique brews that you can't find anywhere else. Reformation Brewery, set beer free. ReformationBrewery.com.
Andrew and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep, brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Andrew and Lisa, I'm going to let you finish, but first, you forgot to mention the $3 craft beer specials you have every Thursday. I mean, come on, the pizza's great, but that's an amazing deal. $3 craft beer specials every Thursday. Now, go ahead and finish your commercial.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all of our beer events and specials.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery, but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We are the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding current breweries. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com for more information. CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
The Columbus Craft Beer Bash is coming soon. It's a celebration of all things local. Local food, local music, and of course, local craft beer. The Columbus Craft Beer Bash, June 24th from noon to 5 at Chattahoochee Harley-Davidson in Columbus. Sponsored by Cerrone's Brick Oven Pizza and the Columbus Beverage Superstore. A portion of the proceeds goes to Paws Humane Society. Tickets are just $35 and go up on June 12th. So get your tickets now. Just go to beerbash.brownpapertickets.com.
Hey, it is Aaron with the Beer Guys, and we are talking craft beer from the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market. If you are getting together with the crew this weekend, you need to skip the grocery store, head to the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market to pick up growlers, or yes, they've got crowlers too, of the craft beer you love. It is a great place to spend the summertime with craft beer, barbecue fixin', fresh local meats and cheeses, all of that great stuff. They make hanging out with the friends on weekends easy. Make sure to grab some local beers from Creature Comforts, Omaha, Southern, Arches, Monday Night, Sweetwater, all of the great Georgia breweries that we have. Of course, it's beer drinking season, but it's also grilling season. And the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market has you covered with all things Big Green Egg. They've got grills of all sizes and all the accessories. Seriously, they've got everything you need for a great barbecue. It is quite simple. If you like craft beer, you have to visit the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market. It's in the Smyrna Market Village, and check out thestoutbrothers.com for the tap list. That's thestoutbrothers.com, and let them know the Beer Guy sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What is tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show, beerguysradio.com, broadcasting from our home studios at AM 920, The Answer in Buckhead, Atlanta, Georgia. But we're going to take a trip to Huntsville, Alabama. Talking right now to Keith Yager from Yellowhammer Brewing. He is the founder and brewmaster. So thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Keith, I tell you what, let's start with something that's probably an easy question. What's your craft beer story? How'd you get involved with beer and brewing?
So I started home brewing in about 1995 when my mom got me a homebrew kit for Christmas one year.
Was it a Mr. Beer?
No, it was not a Mr. Beer. But ironically, I actually wanted a Mr. Beer, and I was disappointed when she got me like this. You know, it was a John Bull extract kit and with the yeast under the lid. But it came with this little bitty book about brewing continental ales and lagers, and it was just like, I don't know, maybe a 50-page pamphlet, and I just devoured that, over and over again, and wanted to learn how to brew all these beers and such, and that's really what piqued my interest.
Very cool, very cool. So you take the John Bull, the yeast inside the package, but you've kind of converted that into pro. I mean, that's quite a large leap there.
Yeah,
so you got the bug early.
It was, and the first batch of beer, I always tell everybody that I made, was basically dissolve the extract in the sugar and just pitch the yeast, and it was disgusting. And even though I tried to tell everybody it was awesome, but it really was the bug that bit me, and then I really knew that I had this feeling I could really learn to make good beer, and I found all the books I could, and I started with Charlie Papazian's Complete Joy of Homebrewing, and just really went on from that, and it really just grabbed my interest so much, and it's really what I obsessed about for years and years.
Well, yeah, it's always funny that, Tim does a lot more homebrewing than I do, but, it's like that first batch of homebrew. If you can get someone to say, well, it tastes like beer,
right,
I guess you're good, right?
Which was the review that Brian and I got on our first batches. It tastes like beer, so that's a good starting point, though. At least it didn't taste like something else.
No, mine tasted like vomit, actually.
Okay, that's not a good first batch, then. I feel better about our first batch now.
I tried to convince everybody it was good, but it was terrible.
So after that horrible batch of ABV vomit there, what made you decide to start a brewery?
Well, I had a job at the Huntsville Times, which is our local newspaper, and I worked there for about 15 years, and I was really getting into home brewing. I was brewing maybe 10 or 15. Like 10 times a month sometimes.
Wow.
And
okay.
So I really enjoyed the process, and I was brewing a lot of times the same beers over and over and over again. At the same time, I was reading everything I could, and I took a buyout from the Huntsville Times, and at the same time I took this buyout, I had a group of friends, three friends, asked me if I wanted to open a brewery with them, and I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. I don't have anything else on the horizon,
And so, might as well.
That's right.
Yeah, might as well. And I kind of started leaning that way, anyways. A couple of years earlier, I had made some small attempts and looked it up, saw what it was going to actually take to do it. And so that was just the door opened at the right time, and I was actually able to do it.
Now, you opened in 2010, is that correct?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So that was a much different time for beer in Alabama, correct?
Oh yeah, we're still on the vanguard of craft brewing in Alabama. Alabama's really starting to pick up now, but when we started, we thought we were going to only be the third craft brewery in Alabama. There was Good People in Birmingham, which still makes excellent beer, and there was a brewery that's now defunct called Old Town, and their beer, it could be good sometimes, but they had a lot of problems with it where they would have some infected batches, and everybody really wanted them to succeed. But when we started, we thought, we're going to be the third brewery in Alabama. And by the time we opened, two more in Huntsville had opened before us. The same year. So, and now, it's like I think there's like maybe 12 breweries in Huntsville and in Madison County or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, you've got a lot of engineers up there, of course, with the U.S. Space and Rocket Center and that type of thing. So, a lot of what I found is a lot of engineers get into brewing, which is interesting. So.
Seems like engineers and lawyers want to become brewers.
That's true.
So.
And one of the things is in Huntsville specific is that it's a very cosmopolitan town. So you have people like I'm from Pennsylvania. I grew up Pennsylvania and was used to having different beer selections. So I think a lot of people moved here from out of state, and the beer selection was sucked. In fact, when I first moved here, you couldn't buy beer over 6% alcohol. And Sam Adams and I think you could get the Pete's Wicked back then, a couple other beers, but that was about all you could really get. So I think some of the restriction that we had here at that time actually drove some of the interest for people to. Because I had never had a barley wine before, and I wanted to know what a barley wine tasted like, and I couldn't get one, so I learned to make it myself, and I was surprised when I thought, when I tasted other commercially made barley wines, I was like, wow, spot on, So
the Alabama 6% barley wine, right?
No, I made like a 12% barley wine.
Yeah.
But
not for distribution. That's right.
We would go out of state and bring home a couple $100 worth of beer to sample all the time, but. I think a lot of Alabamians were doing that.
Yeah. So Keith, you're a journalism guy. You were from Pennsylvania. Did you go to J school up there too, or is it?
No, actually, I'm a graphics guy. I'm a graphics design guy.
Gotcha. So very cool. You've recently started another expansion. So what's in the works for you guys?
So we're basically doubling the size of the brewery existing, and so it's about a 12,000 square foot expansion, about 8,000 more square footage of production. Room, and we're actually a lot of it is because we're on top of each other right now. we have to rent a storage facility down the road that we keep just bottles and kegs and that sort of thing. So some of it's going to be storage, but we're also adding a lot of cold space. We're going to add a lab, and we're adding some event space that will actually probably only be opened on the weekends or for special events. Like if you're a corporation, you can rent, the area, the little venue from us. The coolest thing we're getting ready to do is we're adding a 1,000-liter still on site. So we'll also be making whiskey and rum and gin. So we're really looking forward to that. I'm really excited about hopefully by the fall we'll be able to start running our first batches of the still.
Very cool. Now, Aaron mentioned Campus 805. The last time we were over there, I think, was just before Straight Ale made their move, I think, because we went to we went over to their old location, but at the time, I know it looked like there was a lot coming up there, and it was going to be just a really cool kind of craft beer area. What's going on there? Is other breweries or beer places coming in?
So Straight to Ale is literally across the green from us, and we have a great relationship with the brewery. I mean, they're our best frenemies. We like to get around.
There you go.
But we have a good relationship with them. We borrow stuff from them. They borrow stuff from us. They have a really nice area. And then, of course, down the road, right from where we are now, was our old location, literally not even a quarter of a block away, which is our friend Salty Nut. And they have a really nice brewery. They just upgraded their brew system from our old homemade system that we made from milk tanks. And they have a wonderful beer garden that I'm going to brag about because we built that beer garden. So if you're ever in Huntsville,
so humble.
Stop by Campus 805. Check out Salty Nuts Beer Garden and check out Straight to Ale, and then come for their really good beer at Yellowhammer.
It's funny. We just had Left Nut Brewing out of Gainesville a couple of weeks ago on our show, and we always thought that Left Nut and Salty Nut should do a collaboration.
Oh, they should. I didn't even know there was a Left Nut.
Yeah.
And call them D's Nuts. Would. Yeah, call them. I think D's Nuts would be a good communication.
D's Nuts. That's great.
Exactly. So we're trying to make that happen. We're all set. So.
That's a great idea.
Definitely. So, again, Campus 805, you just got your Arts and Entertainment District, and that allows kind of alcohol to consumption outdoors. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and so there's also, so you can get a Purple Cup. You can walk, you can visit Straight to Ale. If you're not done with your beer there, you can walk over to Yellowhammer, finish your beer, and, get a beer at our place. There's also a Wish You Were a Beer, which is a bottle shop and draft shop. They have, I'm not exactly sure, but I think they have like 40 beers on draft or something like that, and have a really nice homebrew setup, and they have a really nice bottle selection there. They're getting ready to put in some kind of it looks like a Wii golf on steroids kind of thing, where you walk in and it's electronic golfing range. There's a sushi, a really nice sushi restaurant. Then and if you really want to, you can even get your hairdo done.
My hair did.
They got the some kind of hair salon there. A couple other shops moving in as well. I'm not sure what else is going in.
Excellent. Well, you know what? I think hopefully there's a Uber place that's going on there too, because it looks
Uber,
like
there is. We do a lot of Lyft in Huntsville.
Definitely. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Either one.
We're talking to Huntsville's Yellowhammer Brewing, and we will take a quick break. We're going to be back in just a minute to continue the conversation.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guy sent you.
The Columbus Craft Beer Bash is coming soon. It's a celebration of all things local. Local food, local music, and of course, local craft beer. The Columbus Craft Beer Bash, June 24th from noon to 5 at Chattahoochee Harley-Davidson in Columbus. Sponsored by Cicerone's Brick Oven Pizza and the Columbus Beverage Superstore. A portion of the proceeds goes to Paws Humane Society. Tickets are just $35 and go up on June 12th. So get your tickets now. Just go to beerbash.brownpapertickets.com.
Hey, it's Aaron, and you're a fan of craft beer, right? And you want to know more about what's going on in the craft beer scene in Georgia? Thanks to the hard work from my co-host Tim, we are giving you the lowdown on the craft beer scene every week right in your inbox. Go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer right at the top. We won't spam you, promise, or sell your name. Just good beer info every week. Plus, you can win great prizes from us. This Week in Georgia Beer, sign up today. beerguysradio.com.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery, but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We are the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms, or expanding current breweries. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com for more information. CRL Contracting. We build breweries. crlcontracting.com.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
Yar, Tim, we got some whales going on. What do we got?
You know, I thought I was being witty here with one of these, Aaron, but you punked me out.
I did,
on this.
totally.
So I was going to say this one was a whale of the week because it's a literal whale.
Yes.
So the red one we're enjoying now, the red brick whale shark wheat.
But it's a shark.
But you remember, it's a shark. It's not a whale. I still used it, so we're still going to go with that.
I'm going to go with that. That'll be good.
Yeah,
That's
and another one that released earlier this week that's really good. I enjoyed at the recent Orpheus anniversary, the Orpheus Sycophantes Dior. Is bottle release earlier this week. So, I know it's a limited batch, so get over to the brewery and get it if you can.
Awesome.
And those are our whales for the week.
Good whales. A couple of good whales.
And a shark.
One
whale and a shark.
A fish, a mammal. It's all that good stuff. Exactly. So, very cool. We are talking right now with Keith Yager. He is, of course, the president and brewmaster of Yellowhammer Brewing in Huntsville, Alabama. Thanks so much for joining us again on the Beer Guys Radio Show. Appreciate it.
It's great to be here.
Definitely.
So, Keith, question for you here. We know that Alabama just recently celebrated 1 year since you got your beer to go law.
Right.
So, how's that going for you?
It's going really well. We have we sell a lot of crowlers now. So we have a crowler, the canning machine, and we also do draft to go. And today I just put Fresh Hop Revival, which is our double IPA, in the case, and we posted it on Facebook, and we had probably about 10, 15 people show up at 4 o'clock to go ahead and grab some.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting.
That's cool. It's always nice to see the people lined up before you open up, right? So.
Yeah, right. Well, we were open. They just showed up to grab some.
Oh, okay.
We actually open at 11 every day.
Nice.
We're excited about that because, we get it over here this September. So we get our to-go law. We finally got it passed. So
congratulations. It's
yeah,
really
I think
awesome.
all 50 of us now. I was recently over in Mississippi, and I went to a Lucky Town Brewing in Jackson, and they actually have a beer there they've called Old 49, kind of joking at the fact that they weren't the last state, that they beat us by one. So
That's great. That's clever.
Yeah. Here in the South, we like to make fun of Mississippi because, we always say at least we're not Mississippi. But unfortunately, they beat us out here in Georgia, too.
Take it when you can, Mississippi.
That's
go
right.
for it.
There you go.
Yes.
And there's a couple of good breweries popping up over in Mississippi.
There are. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Southern Prohibition, the stuff they do there. I like them quite a lot. So.
Yes.
Let's talk about your beers.
There you go.
So that's it. So I know your flagships. You got a few flagships: Yellowhammer Belgian White. You've got your Rebellion Red Lager, Midnight Special Black Lager, and Hopsfell Lager. So
that's right. Very
interesting that a lot of your flagships are lagers. Do you prefer lager beers?
So a lot of the thing, we also have we have our IPA, which is a Cheat and Heart IPA, which we just released this year. I really enjoy brewing lagers. They're a little more challenging to brew. I really enjoy the balance in a beer, and I find that you can really achieve that balance with a lager yeast. And if you have any off flavors, if you're brewing with lagers, you're going to pick it up right away. So I really enjoy the challenge of keeping a really clean, balanced and easy drinking beer. I also really enjoy doing Belgians, and I do a lot of high gravity Belgians. And with the Belgian strains, I really like the artistic feel of of pretty much you can do whatever you want with it, and I enjoy the way that the yeast creates so much of the profile of the beer, and it's kind of with lagers you have a lot of control over it because the lager yeast stays out of the way. The Belgian yeast you kind of got to unleash it a little bit and let it do its thing,
right.
and it gives you the flavors that it wants to give you. So. I enjoy both. I am my last name's Yager, so German heritage by background. But I find the Belgian strains, very adventurous to work with as well.
Yeah, I enjoy Belgians. That's Brian here with us. Brian and I are co-home brewers. We turned my garage into our home brewery, and we do a ton of Saisons and several Belgians. Get a little creative with those. We did a beer. This is Brian's brainchild. Tell me about Johnny Saisoni, Brian.
Oh, yes, the Saison with basil and sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh, that sounds delicious, actually.
Yes.
It turned out really good. People thought it was going to be like a pizza sauce, but...
Did you get any color from the sun-dried tomatoes?
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little tint
yeah.
from it, really.
It
it
had a nice reddish color. It had the interesting thing is the sun-dried tomatoes gave it a nice kind of a raisiny sweetness, which I didn't expect
the sweetness from the sun-dried tomatoes was it worked nice. I mean, if you like those flavors, it was a tasty beer.
I can't wait to feel the idea.
Yeah, there you go. We'll come over and drink it when you brew it there.
Great.
So.
Emphasis on if you like those flavors. I think that was the big one right there.
That was it. So
we did have heavy on basil. Just a warning.
There you go. Yeah.
So now I know Keith, you've brewed a fewer high ABV beers, but I think you kind of like to stay in that mid range, correct?
I actually, most of the beers we actually brew, our flagship beers are mostly under 6.2 ABV. I like right now I'm drinking a Rebellion. I like to be able to drink a few beers, still function, and that's when I do drink a higher gravity beer, usually it's later at night. So yeah, most of I kind of like to think of us as the beer you get home and you drink a couple, just quench your thirst, unwind for the day, and it's just a way to relax. You don't feel heavy or bloated. You can still eat dinner, and so that's just kind of and also my philosophy is if you drink one, you should definitely feel like you want to have another one.
Yeah.
And so a lot of beers like if you have a really heavier beer. A lot of times, well, that was really delicious, but I'm not sure I want to drink another one right now because I want to go eat dinner or maybe need a glass of water or something like that. So, most of our beers are pretty. We like to brew on the drier side. I'm not really. I like to brew some sweeter beers, but those are more situational. And this is what I like to do is brew everyday beers because I like to drink beer every day.
Well, plus like we heard from some of your lawmakers that all of you guys are from Germany anyway. So
Germany.
What's wrong with the beer we got? It's always good stuff.
But I also we brew a lot of high gravity beers. So like Hop Revival today, that's 9.2, and I'm probably going to have one of those here after a little while because it's fresh, just bottled today.
There you go.
And then one of my favorite beers we brew is Frankenhammer, which is about 9.8 ABV, and it's a Belgian strong ale that we age on toasted cherry wood. And we only released that right around the fall, and that one is, that's a big mover for us. And we can ship out several pallets of that, and usually it's gone within a month or two. So it's an anticipated beer, and we're looking forward to shipping that over into Tennessee and Georgia hopefully soon.
Okay,
awesome.
So they were going to go with 4-packs for that. So,
okay,
because the Bombers they move. They don't move as well as the 4-packs. So the 4-packs they seem to be a better option.
It's kind of funny. We've seen that, of course, as a trend nationwide, that a lot of the Bombers kind of will sit on the shelves a little more, but I think a 4-pack is a little more approachable.
It is, and the same thing with me. It's like, and I love to drink a Frankenhammer, but I only want to drink one, And so when I have a Bomber, I want to share it with a friend, which that's nice too. You want to have that option, but you can also share a 4-pack with a friend. So
it makes it a little bit easier. Plus, you can drink it yourself and have a solo bottle share, which is
exactly
what I do every once in a while.
Now, Keith, you mentioned sending those to Georgia. Do you guys come to Georgia now?
Not yet, but we are looking to move into parts of Georgia hopefully this year.
All right. I was going to say I didn't think I'd seen you over here yet.
Yeah, and I can't remember the Ethan Couch is our general manager, and he's setting all this up right now. But there's a small section of Georgia that we're looking to move into, and hopefully move in towards Atlanta over the next couple of years.
Sounds good.
Kind of go down the I-20 corridor, I guess, maybe.
Work the way over, huh?
That's it.
Now, I had a question for you. You mentioned that you aged one of your beers on cherry wood, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. You see, so many breweries do oak. That's just common, whether it's your bourbon barrel or oak chips or whatever. But it's really interesting to see. I've tried a beer with maple wood, cherry, and I think it's called Palo Santo Marron that Dogfish Head uses for that. And so it's interesting. Why do you think more brewers don't get a little more creative with the woods they use there?
No, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, I started doing with the cherry wood when I was still a home brewer, and I actually found, I also really enjoy to do smoking food on the weekends, and I really enjoyed I always felt like, and maybe I'm crazy, but I always felt like the cherry wood added a different color to the meat, and so I started experimenting with that, and it really did feel like it gave the beer just a little bit more of a ruby complex to it, and I really enjoyed the complexity it gave it. And oak has a very distinct flavor, and the cherry wood just seemed like it gave just a little bit more of a fruity character, and it's subtle. It's not something that's overwhelming by any stretch. But we also take that beer and we age it in some wine barrels from Arrington Vineyards, and we call that the Bride of Frankenhammer. And we actually add cherry puree to that beer. So that one we only release right at Thanksgiving. So there's all kinds of things you can do with wood. I mean, we do some wine, but we do a lot of wine barrel agings. For our beers, I feel like wine barrels pair better than bourbon. Bourbon barrels a lot of times I think tend to overwhelm the beer. With the flavors, you really have to have a very dark, like a Russian Imperial Stout or a barley wine or something like that, to really pair well with a bourbon barrel. The wine barrels, to me, are a little more subtle and allow for some more complexity of flavors to come through.
Excellent. Keith Yager from Yellowhammer Brewing. We will talk to you in just a second. We're going to take another break right now on the Beer Guys Radio Show, beerguysradio.com. We'll be back right after this.
Andrew and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep, brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint, after work, or bring the family in.
Andrew and Lisa, I'm going to let you finish, but first, you forgot to mention the $3 craft beer specials you have every Thursday. I mean, come on, the pizza's great, but that's an amazing deal. $3 craft beer specials every Thursday. Now, go ahead and finish your commercial.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all of our beer events and specials.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle.
Here at the Beer Guys Radio Show, we love to bring you the stories behind the craft beer that you love. And we'd be grateful if you took the time to check out our Patreon site. It's at patreon.com/beerguys. If you choose to become one of our donors, you'll get some awesome swag, including t-shirts, glasses, and some stickers, too. Thanks again for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are really happy that you have enjoyed this show. And please subscribe, tell a friend, and head to patreon.com/beerguys. Cheers. Hey, it's Aaron from the Beer Guys Radio Show, and it is summer, and it is time to talk about barbecue. Yeah, the Nest in downtown Kennesaw is the destination for not only some amazing barbecue, but it's one of the best craft beer spots, OTP or ITP. And if you're hungry for some barbecue to go along with that craft beer, you know you need to be at the Nest. Summertime, like I said, it is here. Celebrate the season with friends and family while sipping on a Georgia-made beer on their 2,000-square-foot patio. Try some brews from some of your favorite breweries like Creature Comforts, Jekyll, Omaha, Red Brick, Reformation, Dry County, so much more. Go check it out. They've got awesome barbecue. 59 taps pouring the best craft beer from Georgia and around the world. Coffee and wine, too, for those who like that kind of stuff. What else do you want? It's the Nest in historic downtown Kennesaw on Cherokee Street Northwest. Check out their current beer list and menu at thenestkennesaw.com and let them know the Beer Guy sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the AM 920 The Answer studios in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're talking to Keith Yager from Yellowhammer Brewing in Huntsville, Alabama.
Good to be here.
Excellent. Definitely. So now we were talking over the break that, you kind of got a place in the woods hanging out with the hot tub and all that kind of stuff. And I think we're all going to hang out, I think, later on because you're also a cigar guy. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. E. Garcia is probably my cigar of choice on most weekends.
Excellent. Well, Brian here, of course, he writes for StokieReview.com, so I think you're going to be
nice.
Friends.
He might teach me a few things.
Yes, he definitely could.
Well, off the air, I told you that you have the homebrew kit. That's the John Bull Extract homebrew kit. there is a cigar by the same name, and I think you should try it. I have not had it personally. I can't vouch for it, but just based upon the virtue of it having the same name, I think you have to try it.
I'm going to look it up, but if I buy a box and I'm pissed off, who do I complain to?
Brian Hewitt. Well, that's Brian at beerguysradio.com.
All right.
So
there you go.
If you don't like them, I'll send you something as a sorry.
All right, that sounds good.
Excellent. So have you ever paired your beers with some cigars, too?
Well, interestingly enough that you say that, because we have a beer called Tobacco Road that we brew specifically to be, not specifically to be paired with a cigar, but we find that it goes very, very well with cigars. And so, I don't find a lot of beers go with cigars. You'd really have to have a barley wine or Russian Imperial Stout, because cigars will overwhelm your palate with most, a whiskey goes great with a cigar. And so I actually set out to try to design a beer that went well with cigars. And Tobacco Road, it uses a lot of more herbal hops, and it's barley wine strength beer, and it's a pretty big seller. We usually ship it about August, and we run out usually by about November.
That's some of those big beers like the barley wine, strong ales, and that, and the big stouts. You get a tobacco note in some of those. That's really nice. I really like that flavor.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely
too strong. It's a really excellent flavor to have in a beer.
That's definitely what we're going for. We use some Willamette hops, and I said that wrong. Willamette. No, it's Willamette. I said it right.
Willamette.
No, it's Willamette. Exactly.
That's one of Brian's sensitive points because he's from that area.
I am from Oregon. It's Willamette.
Yes. And at the tasting room, you can only get it every once in a while, but we do get some brandy barrels, and we'll age some in brandy barrels. And oh my God, it's really, really good aged in the brandy barrels. So
brandy and cigars, man, that'll work.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
I will say I was excited when I saw the name Tobacco Road. I didn't know if it was intentionally meant for cigars, but now I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah.
So Keith, what's coming up in the future for Yellowhammer?
So, we're doing the big expansion right now, and we are really trying to focus on, our core flagships and expanding those. We are, we had some struggles early on because Alabama is just experiencing, the craft beer movement, and so a lot of our, not that we weren't selling beers, and we were selling everything we made, but we felt like we weren't getting kind of some of the movement on draft that we needed to have, and so all that's picking up. But now we're trying to really push our packaged beers. So as far as new beers coming up on the horizon, in the tap room right now, we have a Goza that we release once a year, and we have a Berliner Weiss that we're getting ready to put out, which you'll actually be able to get Woodruff, and you'll be able to get raspberry in the actual Berliner Weiss at the bar. So you'll have the bartender will serve it that way. And then we're really starting to get ready on releasing a barrel project. So a sour project, so that we will have, hopefully when you show up, you'll have 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different sour beers. Some of them will be barrel aged, and then a lot of them will be bottle conditioned. So we're really looking forward to doing that. We're going to start really small, just do it in the tap room, and then possibly move it out into a larger scale. But that's what we're really looking forward to on the horizon. We might be doing some cans next year. Because cans really seem to be moving really well. It's easier for it's lighter and easier for the grocers and stuff to stack them. So we're moving that direction. We'll always have some bottles as well, but that's pretty much what we're looking for. The distillery really enjoy the whiskey and the rum ideas that we're coming up with, and.
So you're distilling now, but you're going to age that, so it's going to be a little while before that.
No, we're not distilling. We're not distilling now.
Okay.
Not that I'm going to admit to, but
I have no idea what you're talking about. Exactly.
But the actual still should be here by the end of August, and so we should be licensed by I think October, and then that will be We'll start doing some clear whiskeys and some rums, which are really easy to turn over. Should be by the first of next year. Then we're actually going to start putting stuff in the barrels right away. So 3 years from now, we should actually have some bourbons and whatnot ready to go.
A Rama Jamma Yellowhammer. That's good stuff right there.
Yes,
any rye?
I love rye. So we will definitely be playing around with rye. And our plan, it's 1,000 liters still. So our plan is to be running at running it at least three times a week. So we'll have a lot of creative offerings, and it's fun to be moving into another direction. While retaining the beer roots that we have, but I enjoy the challenge, and I'm looking forward to the adventure that's coming up.
Well, Keith, if folks want to stay in touch and kind of see when all this awesomeness happens with Yellowhammer, how's the best way to do that?
So we're on Facebook, so that you can look us up that way. You can always check out the website, www.yellowhammerbrewery.com, which had always bugged me. It should be yellowhammerbrewing.com. I didn't set it up, so it's brewery.com.
Yep.
And you can email me, Keith, at yellowhammerbrewery.com, and I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Keith. We appreciate it.
It was a blast, guys.
Definitely. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and check out this week's Hot List.
Time for the Hot List. The Beer Guys have the scoop on what's going on next week. Brought to you by CRL Contracting. We build breweries. CRLcontracting.com.
That's hot.
All right, Tim, we got a lot of stuff going on in Georgia. What's up?
We do.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, Sunday we have Restaurant Row Streets Alive party at Deer Beer Garden. Some German beer and food there, so check that out. On Wednesday, Team Trivia at Your Pie Perimeter, where they have a featured beer for only $3.14. And also on Wednesday, the Moody Tongue Brewing Company launch at Holman Finch. So a new brewery coming to Georgia. They had a chocolate churro ale that sounded really good.
Yeah,
so,
and Moody
Baltic
Tongue,
Porter.
Yeah, Moody Tongue recently expanded into Alabama, too. So they're kind of moving into the
Coming
Southeast.
to the Southeast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. On Thursday, Pint Night at Your Pie Perimeter, where they have a featured beer again for only $3.14. Also, the official launch of Triple Tell from Sweetwater, their tropical IPA, on Thursday. And Friday through Sunday is Wrecking Bar's 6th anniversary.
That is a lot of stuff.
It is.
By the way.
Always a lot of, and I'm only picking and choosing. There's so much more going on.
I know, exactly. Triple Tail was fantastic, though. We were able to try that, Brian and I, just today.
It was quite nice, right off the tank. Very, very juicy.
Yeah. Juicy. Not hazy, though.
Yeah. Not hazy at all, but juicy.
That's very good. So, in Alabama, we've got Jack Brown's Beer and Burger Joint in Birmingham. They're having their 3rd anniversary party. That's going to happen through Sunday. Also, in Tuscaloosa, brand new. They just opened the Brass Tap there, so all the folks there at the University of Alabama et al. Can enjoy that. They're having a Good People Brewing Tap Takeover, and that, again, is going to last through Sunday. Dogfish Head, of course, that great Delaware brewery is starting to be a little bit more well-known or expanding into the Alabama area. They're going to have a tap event at Old Town Beer Exchange in Huntsville. So if you like that, so certainly enjoy that, but don't bring anybody from Rate Beer, and you'll be all set with that. And finally, on Thursday, we'll have S'mores and Pours at the Avondale Brewing Company in Birmingham, and that's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. So lots of good stuff going on in both Alabama and Georgia. If you want a full list of events, check out our calendar at beerguysradio.com. And speaking of beerguysradio.com, we've got a giveaway to give away.
We do. I'm going to give it away right now.
All right.
So our winner this week of an awesome swag pack is Brian Shank. Brian, congratulations, and thank you for subscribing to This Week in Georgia Beer. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll get your swag pack to you.
Definitely. I got so much stuff in my office. My boss is bugging me.
Hook it up.
So, so we'll hook you up, Brian. So, congratulations on winning. If you'd like to win, or like to enter at least, sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer at beerguysradio.com. Super easy. It's right there on the right-hand side if you're on your web browser. If not on your mobile, it's a little bit below our web, beerguysradio.com. Just scroll down and you'll see that. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings in Georgia Beer. And, of course, you'll also be entered to win a weekly swag pack, just like what Brian won. Lots of cool stuff from some of our guests and hosts. So coming up next week, we are going to be talking mead, little honey and alcohol. I'm excited about that. That'll be fun.
Our first mead show.
I think it is our first mead show with a Viking alchemist. So
I'm going to go berserker.
Oh no, we're gonna braid your beard and then kind of
and
get some horns going on. That's good stuff right there. So we're gonna have a Viking Alchemist meadery on next week. But of course, in the meantime, check out beerguysradio.com, and of course, we're going to be on the socials. And don't forget to drink local. We'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're on demand via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Always online at beerguysradio.com. Aaron and Tim are back next week with more about the amazing world of craft beer. Cheers.